We have a fifth round stoppage by Errol Spence defeating Alejandro Barrera. He's now, let me mute it. He's now 19-0 with 16 knockouts. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. If you didn't know, this was an IBF eliminator. Basically, what's going to happen is Errol Spence is probably going to have one more fight, maybe two, and then he's going to be fighting for a world title in 2016, likely late 2016 or so against Kell Brook, if Kell Brook still have the championship. He scored the fifth round knockout against Alejandro Barrera. Barrera was somewhat of an awkward fighter, but after a while you can see that he was taking too many clean shots, especially to the body when it came from Errol Spence. One thing I didn't like about the fight is we know Errol Spence has fought 5 times over the last 12 months, including this fight. I believe this is his 5th fight or his 6th fight in the last 12 months. But the point I'm trying to make is he was getting tagged with some pretty clean shots. And if I'm correct, I believe they said Nacho Beristain is training Alejandro Barrera, and some friends of mine on Facebook was pointing out that he was throwing some Marquez-like combinations, especially when you were looking at that uppercut that he was catching Errol Spence with. I mean, put it this way, it wasn't nothing to be alarmed about, but I'm just saying that Errol Spence took some clean shots from this guy, and I'm guessing maybe because he didn't respect his power. Alejandro Barrera was ranked by the IBF in the top 15, which justifies the reason why Errol Spence is fighting him. People have been saying Errol Spence should fight Keith Thurman and Sean Porter and Robert Guerrero and those names. We find out earlier today that Errol Spence was offered to Luis Collazo, which would have been a nice step up for Errol Spence, because if Keith Thurman at this stage in his career beat Luis Collazo for his last fight, and if Errol Spence was to fight him now and beat him, then that would show that or state a better claim for Errol Spence that, look, okay, well, I can fight Keith Thurman now for the guy that he fought. But Luis Collazo didn't want the fight. I can understand why Luis Collazo was going to lose the fight if he would have took it. And then they said Chris Algieri was another name that was thrown out there, but Chris Algieri also turned down Errol Spence. And I can understand why, because Chris Algieri would get beat up, and also Chris Algieri would be now a gatekeeper for Al Haymon fighters. So he's fighting Eric Bonet. But put it this way, Errol Spence is good. He's really good. He has some room for improvement. I'm not going to say that he's going to be the #1 welterweight just yet, because I do want to see him use a little bit more foot movement. Outside of that, when it comes to accuracy, when it comes to foot movement, ring generalship, he's a solid fighter. 19-0 with 16 KOs. I honestly don't think he's ready for a Kell Brook yet. I believe he beats a Kell Brook from what I see, but I'm not certain yet. I still need to see some more from him. Now, if he takes 1 or 2 more fights, let's hear what he has to say. Hold on.
So I want to put on a great show. You start hearing the chant of man down, and you really seem to turn it on. Were you hearing that? Yeah, I was hearing. I heard everybody in the crowd that said man down. That was more motivation to knock him out. What did your trainer, Derek James, who's standing next to you after that 4th round, that really caused you to really turn it on in the 5th? He told me to stay composed, because Alejandro Barrera, he was real awkward, and I couldn't really figure him out in the 1st and 2nd round. He was like, just stay composed, it's going to come, it's a 12-round fight. I stayed composed, I walked her down, put my hands up, and picked my shots, and I was able to get him out of there. It's a big victory, but I know you're always looking for, what would you like to do next? I'm in the top 10. I'm in the top 10 IBF and all the sanctioning bodies. I want a big name. I want to fight the best. I want to fight the Kell Brooks and Sean Porter, Keith Thurman. I want the big names, and hopefully they step up. Did this fight send a message to those who set those fights up? Yeah, I think it sent a message. I don't think I already looked that good. I give myself a B, so hopefully they step up now because they see I ain't performing that well. Errol, congratulations. Thank you. Mark.
Yeah, he said what he was supposed to say. He called out the Kell Brooks, the Keith Thurmans, and the Sean Porters. And listening to the ring announcer, he was right by asking, well, for the people who set up these fights, can it be set up? I mean, can it happen? It can happen, but it's all about if Al Haymon's going to make it happen. Right now, I say Keep doing what you're doing, Errol Spence. Go for your IBF title. Fight about one more, maybe two more fights. But in sometime in 2016, he needs to and should go for the title that Kell Brook now holds. Now, from my understanding, this is an IBF eliminator. I don't know if that means that he's the mandatory yet or he has to fight one more fight to be the mandatory. But like I said, regardless of the fact, Errol Spence, if he keeps winning, is the #1 guy or the biggest fight for Kell Brook to likely fight and probably maybe lose. I'm not saying he will yet, could lose, in 2016. It's something to look out for. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.